Hey guys, welcome to Taste This TV. I'm Chef Joseph Manera. I'm lounging in another place outside the studio. Hurt my leg a little bit. My knee went out, so I'm kind of incapacitated. But I wanted to do a video because I've been promising to try to help promote what's going on in the restaurant industry, which is just disastrous from one leader to the next. I mean, there's really nothing out there that is giving to the restaurateurs to help sustain themselves. Now, as everybody knows, I'm in New York City, and we had a bit of good news. Cuomo announced last week that restaurants in New York City are now going to be allowed to have 25% capacity on Valentine's Day. So a bit of good news. But, realistically, a lot of these places have been hurt so much that, they cannot survive on 25%. I mean, 25% is still putting them, thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars a month in arrears. And it's just adding up. And, I'm not a big fan of closing the restaurants down at all. I understand you want to be safe, but man, talk about destroying, I've been in the restaurant industry my whole life, and I've seen so many people go out, and so many people are ready to go out, and it doesn't seem to be any help coming through, for these restaurateurs. So if you go to this is what kind of pisses me off. If you go to other states, if you go to outside, New York, and I don't want to start mentioning states right now to put people in hot water, but some of these restrictions are totally lifted. It's 100% capacity inside, and from what I hear from chefs that I know all around the United States, it's not like it's a massive spread of COVID-19 to where they got to shut the doors, or they're the reasons why they open the doors. But I mean, talk about really killing the restaurant industry. I hope that it goes back. We obviously, the PPP came out in January 11th. So restaurants, I believe it's at 3.5 times as opposed to 2.5 of what a normal business is. So there's a little bit of a push there that restaurants and food service establishments can get a little bit more money on the PPP program. And there are other videos online here that really go into how you can apply for that and stuff like that. But I really encourage every restaurant, if they haven't applied, to apply. Even if they're self-employed, they don't have an LLC, they don't have an S Corp, they're not a corporation. Even if you're just a mom and pop everyday establishment, apply for it, because you never know what you're going to get. Because it really is the only thing that's out there right now that is going to help restaurants. I mean, there's so much talk. I mean, every week there's talk about some kind of grant coming out down the pipeline, but it doesn't seem to be happening. So the PPP is out there. You can apply to either your own bank branch, or there are websites out there like Veeam. I think there's Blue Vine's out there as well right now, that you can fill out the PPP loan, even if it's your first time. Obviously, they came out with the SD. But you can apply for the first time, for the second time as well, to extend, as long as you had a 25% loss on the year before. You can get that second PPP loan. But even if you've not applied for it yet, you could still do it through a lender. So always search out your bank that you kind of have an account with, because I think that tends to make things go quicker. But keep up the good work and push the takeout. A lot of these people have had to be really creative with doing takeout and creating packaging. I think that was the biggest hurdle for a lot of these restaurants, were not so much that they couldn't pump out the food, but that they really had to find the proper to-go containers and stuff like that, so that the food would not be diminished going to the next level. And I think that's what takeout is. I mean, takeout is, it's not going to be as good as when you sit down in a restaurant, especially if you go to some of these higher end restaurants. The thought of putting something in a takeout container and taking it away, unless you have some state-of-the-art, food storage containers or something like that, they're not going to want to do it. But I don't think people got a choice now. I think they're looking at this now that, okay, let's get creative with the packaging and let's try to push this takeout thing going. Now, however, the ghost kitchens are popping up like crazy. So, you have to sort of see the good in any bad situation here. And we definitely have a very bad situation when it comes to the restaurant industry. But a lot of these chefs, even that have closed down their places and sort of cut their expenses, where they were paying $7,500 a month in rent for a smaller shoebox, are now renting ghost kitchens out, where they're renting it for $2,000 a month, and they took their clientele and they moved it over to the takeout phase, and they're pumping out some serious money. So it's there really aren't any forums, based on some YouTube videos or someone like myself. I mean, with me and Taste This TV, it's all about going to restaurants and filming, making relationships and stuff like that. So I hear a lot of things. I hear a lot of things from restaurants and what creative things they're doing. I try to pass them on. Nothing's a secret. I try to pass them on to people who are watching this channel. And I think I should have did more of this over the last 8 months. And you're going to see videos pop up of me just sitting here talking about, some things that I might be, creative and helpful to normal restaurants out there. And a lot of these mom and pop places have just relied on, just business coming in. They haven't done DoorDash, they haven't done Eat24, they haven't done Grubhub or any of those other, services where they provide those delivery services, DoorDash, etc. So you definitely, as a restaurateur, want to make sure that you're utilizing all those areas. And if you don't think you've ever wanted to do it, or your ego has stopped you from doing it, you might want to talk about some coupons. You have to give people an incentive to go in there and spend some money in times like this, because I'll tell you, restaurants are hurting too, but people are hurting. The patrons are hurting. So it's a hurting world. So, there's an old expression, pigs eat, hogs drown. So, lower the prices a little bit, get them in, encourage people to be part of the restaurant scene. And give them a break. I'm sure this is going to get back to normal, where people could start charging, what they normally would, and bars can be packed and everything like this. But for now, it has to be really creative. So anybody that's lost their restaurant can go to a ghost kitchen. You can definitely, bring your clientele there. Facebook Marketplace is, in my opinion, one of the best spots to advertise events. And you rent an event at the ghost space, the ghost kitchen, you create a Facebook market campaign, and you can get yourself, 50 guests in a capacity that's, depending on what state you're in. You can also do a lot of takeout delivery service. Most people are scared to death. They don't want to leave their house. Some people haven't left their house, in the last almost a year coming up now. So they're all about takeout. You find a creative way to do takeout or food takeout and send it right to people's houses and doors with the proper utensils that are, obviously wrapped shut tight and everything else, and make people feel like, you're taking hygiene, and to another level. You will have that client, 2 or 3 times a week. That's another thing. Prepared meals are a big thing. Restaurants who are used to doing things a certain way might have to change around what their thinking is if they want to stay in business. And you have to adapt to the times. The times right now are people still needing to obviously eat, but make chef-crafted food for the taking, instead of trying to worry about, they're not coming in, Cuomo won't let us in, they won't lift the restrictions and stuff like that. If you're going to sit there watching the news every night and expecting, the governor to wave his magic wand and say, okay, everybody can go into the restaurant and eat. Look, you're as foolish as the news that you see on TV. I think you really need to be creative and think of other ways to get that business in there. And I'm telling you, from someone who goes from restaurant to restaurant to restaurant, and I have tens of thousands of people that I filmed with, I'm telling you that the takeout is what's saving these individuals. In fact, some people, and I'm not going to say all, but some are really flourishing from it. They've taken takeout to the next level. I heard one chef tell me the other day, look, I hope I do takeout forever. I don't want to deal with the dining room service. I don't want to deal with the patrons complaining. I make the food, I put it in the container, and a delivery service picks it up. You don't have to worry about, insurance on the delivery drivers. There's a lot of things you can cut down. But I will keep you updated if I hear of any new news. I'll be scouring the internet probably in the next couple of days to see if there's any new programs that came out for restaurants. But hang in there. Make sure you support your local restaurant. Show them some kind of support. And I hope that restaurants can do the same by lowering their prices to make it affordable for patrons to come in there and eat too. There are no rules in cooking. Taste this.